All right, so this week we are going to get back into our episode 1. I'm very excited for that. When you think about video games, there's such a large variety of genres, but fighting games is a huge subsect. There are so many fighting games, and the world really doesn't know a lot about them. I think a lot of us think about Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or Tekken or Smash Brothers, and sometimes it doesn't go much further than just knowing what they are. But we have a special host that is going to tell us all about them, and each week he has a little bit of different information to give us, and I can't wait to pass it along. So without further ado, let's get into some fighting games.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Fundamentals of Fighting Games podcast. Every week we talk about the certain components of fighting games. We will go over important parts of the genre, such as patch notes, character balance, character archetypes, system mechanics, and more. This is episode 1 for April 17th, 2023. The one who will be hosting this will be me, Gavin from the content creation class of Mr. Heit. You might be wondering, what exactly makes a fighting game? What are exactly the type of games that fit in the category of fighting games? Well, for one, there is Street Fighter, considered the grandfather of all fighting games. It's this one that spawned out of the genre, and it's a 2D fighter. A 2D fighter is your standard fighting game. Health bars on each side, movement, spacing, quarter circle motions like the famous Shoryuken and Hadouken, and most important of all, combos. Before Street Fighter 2, combos were just mashing buttons and spamming special moves. But when Street Fighter 2 came out, there was an actual glitch in the game that allowed combos to exist in the game that got found out by developers. Some devs worried that it would ruin the game's balancing, but they decided to leave it in for seasoned players to experiment with it. This is the main reason fighting games exist right now as a genre, and how it still thrives with a very low community. Combos are what make people interested in fighting games. It looks extremely hype as well once you see someone perform a very hard combo that gives no leniency. But anyways, there has been many 2D fighters since then. Mortal Kombat and Guilty Gear are also in the same category with Street Fighter, although with some different characteristics that make it unique in their own right. As of right now, they have the appearance of being 2.5D fighters, fighting games that have the same functionalities as 2D fighters, but instead have 3D fighters and 3D characters and environments. However, there are games that completely embrace the 3D part of fighting games. Tekken is one of the first games to have the 3D concept implemented in their system. The way characters move in Tekken is based on a 3D plane instead of a 2D plane. Characters sidestep each other, attacks and movement are slower, and combos don't matter as much. It solely relies on the decision making and neutral of the game, with a different system compared to something like Street Fighter. Another game like Soul Calibur also takes into the concept of 3D fighters as well, and many more. This type of genre, while different from the 2D fighter genre, is great in its own right. Now, it isn't only characters fighting on in 1v1 in these games. There are also games that rely on the notion of attack fighters, such as Marvel vs. Capcom, the 3v3 fighting game. Marvel vs. Capcom have a stark contrast to others with the speed of their gameplay. To someone who's never looked at fighting games that much, Marvel vs. Capcom looked like a light show with characters going at a fast pace. Because of the speed, there are 3 characters going at it against other 3 characters, since the matches would be too quick. The point characters will be able to have assists you could choose from in your team. Characters can tag out when their character is getting low by comboing their super into the teammate super, or just tag out regularly in neutral. Skullgirls and Fire Z follow this category of fighting games as well, having their own twists in their games. In Skullgirls, you can choose how many characters will be on your team. If you only have one character, it'll be buffed up to be as strong as a 3-character team. Fire Z, meanwhile, puts its own spin with the idea of easy to learn and hard to master gameplay. Finally, the last major fighting game category is a genre of platform fighters, hosting probably the most famous fighting game, Super Smash Bros. This type of fighting game is vastly different from others. Its combo structure relies heavily on juggling, and the health bars are based on the percentages instead, and how badly you would get knocked off the stage. This type of stage also matters more heavily as well, since some characters may be weaker on some stage and others may be stronger. There are also many platform fighters such as Rivals of Ethers and Brawlhalla. There's also Nick All-Star Brawls and the laughable failure of PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. There has been a new platform fighter called Multiverses, where it takes characters from Warner Bros. And put these characters up against each other. Unfortunately, in light of recent news, Multiverses will be shutting down temporarily for an undetermined due date. What this means is that players who actually spent their money on it wouldn't be able to refund for a long time, or possibly even never. It doesn't mean platform fighters are going to die out, however. It's still going to keep on living with the plethora of games the genre has. Overall, these are the main type of fighting games in the community, but it doesn't mean it's the only type. For example, a game called Yomi Hostel is actually in the archetype of being turn-based, setting up a chess mind game for players to compete on. It just goes to show how much fighting games have grown and how diverse it is. That's going to do it for episode 1. Next time, we look forward to the different character archetypes in fighting games. That's going to do it for me. We'll see you next time.
Finish him!